It's not about businessman Sanjiv Pathak or clinician Sanjiv Pathak or a husband Sanjiv Pathak. Perfection is an attitude. Perfection is not something that you attain with time. Personally, I relate more with lifestyle studies more than just related to dentistry or just related to anything in particular. That has always been my focus in my upbringing. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I actually studied in a public system, in a public school. My dad was a public servant, and so we used to study in a public school. He was in a role where he had to move cities to cities. He was partly in politics as well, and that forced him to move states. And so because of that, we could never be at one school for a very long time until he settled down and he said, okay, I want to focus on my kids' education now. And then from there on, we stayed in one school. What I mean to say here is that it was never all about focusing on studies or education or something like that. It was an overall holistic growth. Now, I'm not talking about this. I'm not pretending to say here that, a kid growing up in India grows the same way as how they do it in Australia over here. Like the co-curricular activities are a lot. The sports is given a lot more emphasis here. That was not the case. But it was the overall growth, like my dad, as I've mentioned previously as well, that he is a fantastic orator, okay? He recites the poems really well. But coming to the point of what I am passionate about, so because of the way of the upbringing, it was always like an overall person. I very strongly feel that, and whenever that doesn't happen, I actually try to resurrect things and I try to get things back in shape. Because what I feel is Sanjiv Pathak is a lot about, it's not about businessman Sanjiv Pathak or clinician Sanjiv Pathak or a husband Sanjiv Pathak. It is all about putting all of them together. So what I'm passionate about is, at least I try to be passionate about, is being a good human being, being a good overall person, a person, even when he's playing tennis, he's putting his 100% into it. Like as I mentioned earlier, perfection is an attitude. Perfection is not something that you attain with time. It is an attitude, because perfection is not accuracy. Once again, going back to the same thing, it is not the same thing. It is not about doing something 100% accurate as the textbook says. It is about what is the best of what you can do. And I'm quite passionate about that. Like, even if, believe it or not, we all do daily house chores and things like that. And my wife, she has always been a big support for me. And she always encourages me to say this thing, that when you do something, you try to do it to the best of what you can. And I think that is what is my passion. I would say, come to dentistry, come to playing tennis, come to, drawing or anything like that. Any of co-curricular things as well. So that's what it's about with my passion there.
Please get on your knees. Came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat. Make a man's run till he step out the crease. When the whole place scream, gotta get out.